Let's get your emotions at this day finally arriving that you probably expected for a while after the draft.
Yeah, I think it's something that after the draft you look forward to. It's the next step in moving in the right direction. I'm obviously super excited, and my family and I, we haven't really been together since the decision, so hopefully when I get to see them, it'll come out a little bit more too.
Can you take us inside the decision a little bit, just how difficult this was?
Yeah, I think it was something that I didn't really expect for the past couple of weeks. I'd been debating it and talking back and forth with my family about it. Obviously, the decision was to turn pro. It was hard because of how much I loved ASU and the coaching staff and the players there to leave them. But I think Tuesday night, my dad and I talked for about 2 hours, and just the two of us, and it was something that we came to the conclusion that was what was best for me, and I think it's the right decision, and we're gonna stick with it.
I don't want to pry too much, but what was that conversation like with Greg? Because obviously he meant a lot to that program.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the hardest conversations I've had is just telling him, and he took it like he takes everything with us. It was awesome, and he said he kind of figured it was coming, and he knew that was my heart's intentions were to go to sign at the end of the year, and he said he needed to know so he could start building the team for next year and move forward. But ever since then, we've kept in touch, and he's been supporting me through the whole thing.
As you stack this up, what was kind of the determining factor in going pro?
Yeah, I think obviously college hockey ended in March a couple times in a row. It's not something that you're thrilled about, and you get 39 games at the max, and getting to play a full season is huge. But then again, moving up in the ranks, the NHL and the AHL, obviously the best development in the world, and there's a reason that they build players in those leagues, and part of me and my family's decision was getting to work with the coaching staff down there and the coaching staff here as well.
And to be able to go to the Coyotes, the team you grew up watching play, what's it mean to have that logo on your shirt there?
Yeah, it's something special. Obviously, I've been repping this logo since I was 0, so it feels pretty normal at this point, but it's super exciting to be officially kind of a part of it. As much as the draft is joining the team, this kind of takes it to the next level to where you're actually a part of the team, and you get to use the resources that they have to help you grow.
Josh, can you talk about what it meant to be captain here at ASU and how hard it is to leave that behind?
Yeah, I think because of that, it made it a little harder to leave those guys. They're in a great position right now and moving forward, and obviously I'll keep in touch with all those guys and help them as much as I can. But having the support I had this year with them and the other captains was huge, and it was an honor to kind of represent ASU and to be a part of that this year. So it's something that I won't forget.
Unique situation that when you do suit up for the Coyotes, this will be home.
Yeah.
So what's that like already having played in the home arena?
Yeah, I think getting the opportunity to play in the same arena is cool, and it's something that we've kind of laughed about all year. Is it is the same arena that I've been in all year, and hopefully when I get the opportunity to someday, it means a little more because it's where I played college as well, and had a lot of memories already in the arena.
You're always going to remember your first goal here?
Yeah,
The first goal
yeah.
here?
I think the first goal with ASU will always be remembered.
You have been dealing with this your entire life, carrying that Doan name around, so I know you've become accustomed to managing it. But when you take this next step into the Coyotes organization, how do you manage all that? And I know your dad has talked to you a lot about this.
Yeah, I think obviously his name has been thrown around in Arizona for a while now, and it's kind of followed me my whole life. But like I've said, the biggest part is that he's taken away all the pressure by just being dad and just kind of accepting the fact that if I want to play hockey, it's because I want to have fun and play it. It's not forced onto me, and that takes away a lot of the pressure to just kind of be myself and enjoy the game.
What role did he play in this decision?
He played a huge role in except for the fact that he just tells me that it's my decision, and he won't support either way. He just agrees that they're both good decisions, which doesn't really help me. And he says that I've made the right decisions my whole career, so he'll talk me through the pros and cons, but he will never tell me what to do. So it makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah.
You're slated to suit up with Tucson coming up. What advice have you been given on the AHL game and kind of the jump from NCAA?
Yeah, I think the jump from college to pro at any rank is going to be something different, and a little bit harder. I've been fortunate to have Colin Tyson down in Tucson right now, and he helped me kind of guide me through my freshman year in college. So he's the guy that I look to and rely on when it comes down to playing tomorrow night.
What about Potts?
Yeah, I think last time Potsy was my coach was when I was on U14, and he was kind of a skills coach for us and helped me and Matthew and a couple other guys that he had, and obviously he does an amazing job, so he's another guy to look to and kind of let him guide me for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, take us inside this one when you started talking about it and how it came about.
Well, it started a long time ago when I watched him play for the Chicago Steel and was always intrigued by his game. And Josh done a great job. 2 years at ASU, he's put up really good numbers. I mean, this year was a tough year for his team. He had some injuries, and he took on a huge responsibility to be captain. So, for us, to get him at this point, it's huge. And I've as a with the St. Louis Blues, we had Parayko come in, and we convinced him to go down to the minors and work his game in there. And it was a huge step, that he took the following year. He came right in and played for us after that. So it's anytime you can take one of your players and put him in the American League right away, get him going, it's really benefits the player. So this is going to be a huge growth step for him, and I believe it's going to pay dividends in the end. And we're really excited to get him in and get him signed.
Just to follow up on that, how do you know when it's the right time to pull him out of college, put him in the AHL? There's something about that maybe he could use one more year of college, but
yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, every organization's different. When we look at it with his the points that he's accumulated, where he's at, in the step, you're thinking about that next step, and we always envisioned him in taking that next step into the American League, into the NHL. So for us, we just thought, okay, he had accomplished what he needed to, and ASU had done a great job at developing him, and we believed his next step was to be a pro hockey player.
When you look at him, do you see any of his old man out there skating around?
He's a different player in my eyes. The one thing that really always caught my attention about him is he makes people better around him. He's got a great hockey sense. He can make plays, and he just breeds that hockey sense. He's got a high hockey IQ. Now he's going to have to adjust to the pro level to strength and speed, but I think he's a different player than his dad. Maybe more offensive, if that makes. He doesn't play quite maybe the power game that Shane played, but his is more of a hockey sense game and just moving the puck and making plays, and he can score too.
Bill, his 2 years at ASU, would you say he met expectations, he exceeded expectations? What would you say?
Well, that's a growing program. I think he went in there and he was great for that program because he was a top recruit. Obviously, everybody wanted him. Every college wanted him, and ASU landed him. And he got better when he was there. So I think for ASU and the way that we looked at it when we played there, that he took a step every time we watched him play, and that's the reason we signed him.
I know it's just the tip of the iceberg, but how cool is it for you to start seeing these guys sign their ELCs and start playing professional hockey?
Well, it's exciting. Anytime you can get a Moser or a Doan or and you have a chance to bring one of your young players in that can make a difference. It's an exciting time for the organization. There's a patience level as a GM because you have all these picks and you're going to get to them. So when you start signing players to come in that you've drafted, it's a rewarding, and the organization can take another step. Obviously, you go through the rebuild. We're lucky in the sense that you have the Michellis of the world, you have the Mosers, the Vejmelkas, where you can see some of the pieces starting to come together. They're not quite NHL stars where they're going to drive us to the playoffs yet, but we're taking steps to get there, and so that's exciting times for the organization.
diving into that development side a little bit. I mean, is this as much as anything a chance for a guy like Lars to get his hands on him, or Potts to get his hands on him and do
Yeah,
that sort of
I mean,
one-on-one
one of our plans, when we came in, was obviously gradually in the organization. We handled the amateur scouting. We went and attacked the pro scouting for trades, and then our last step was to really build a good development team. And we sunk a lot of money into to skating coaches, skill coaches, and along with development coaches. And the one thing I think our players would say about us, if you're a drafted player, and we give you a lot of attention, whether from nutrition to strength to skating to shooting, whatever it takes to get you better. We make sure that our guys are out there on the road, whether you play in Minnesota or you play at ASU, our guys are watching as much as possible.
What is, Josh mentioned kind of you felt some pressure to make a decision, I guess. What is the timeline like when you say you have to build your team for next season? You kind of mentioned
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean that's an advantage of him coming into play, you know, because you can see where he's at and how close he is and what he needs to work on. So it's an advantage for him, and it's also an advantage for us as an organization because you know we can take steps to start building our teams out next year and finding out you know what is that next step that's going to make him the best player possible. So you know I think it's tough when players have to leave their colleges, they have to make a decision. And you know sometimes as for him he's a captain of the ASU team, so he's invested and so when that's hard to leave at times, he had a tough decision to make, but you know on our end we convinced him to make that decision because we do have a good development team. We've got a heck of an opportunity inside our organization, so thrilled to get him.
What does it mean to have a father and son be in this organization to basically lay the groundwork for the future?
Well, you know, I think that, you know, it's a proud moment, obviously, because, you know, two things. Number one, he's Arizona born, Arizona bred, and he's an Arizona hockey player. And that's something that, you know, I think a player like Shane had in mind, that he would help develop players when he was done. So that's a great sign for the state of hockey in Arizona. And also, I think, you know, for Shane's part in it, you know, he's probably a proud dad in the organization. There's two hats you have to wear as dad, and then you have to go to work for the Coyotes. So you have to learn to separate those. But Shane's definitely professional, and he's always had that ability to separate that.